In today's interconnected world, your network isn't just a list of contacts on LinkedIn. It's a form of currency. The people you know, the relationships you build, and the value you provide within those connections can unlock opportunities that sheer skill or knowledge alone might not. Think of it as building bridges to resources, information, and possibilities. We often think of networking as this awkward transactional thing, going to events, handing out cards, trying to get something. But that's the old way. Real networking is about building genuine relationships based on mutual respect and shared value. Here's a surprising myth bust. Networking isn't just for extroverts or people looking for jobs. It's crucial for entrepreneurs finding clients, employees seeking mentorship or promotions, and even investors looking for insights or deal flow. People often underestimate the power of a strong, diverse network built over time. A cause-effect link is simple. The more people you genuinely connect with and help, the more potential avenues for support, advice, and opportunity open up to you. It's not about who you know, but who knows you and trusts you. Try this for a week. Reach out to one person in your existing network each day. This isn't about asking for a favor. It could be sending an interesting article, congratulating them on a success, or simply asking how they're doing. Focus purely on adding value or reconnecting without expectation. This one habit, consistent, low-pressure engagement with my network, changed everything for me in seeing opportunities I never knew existed. Building on the power of connection and learned skills, let's consider the concept of the minimum viable skill. We live in an age of information overload and endless possibilities for learning. It's easy to feel overwhelmed and decide we need to become a world-class expert in something before we can take action or provide value. This leads to analysis paralysis. The truth is, often you don't need to be an expert. You just need to be good enough at a specific skill to solve a particular problem or unlock the next level. This is the minimum viable skill principle, borrowed from the startup world's minimum viable product. What's the smallest amount of skill you need to acquire to make a difference? A surprising insight. Focusing on acquiring just one, minimum viable skill relevant to your goals can have a disproportionately large impact. For instance, you don't need to be a web development guru to build a simple landing page for a side project. You might just need to learn the basics of a user-friendly platform like Shopify or WordPress. You don't need an MBA to understand basic business finance. A few good books or a foundational online course might be sufficient. This targeted approach saves time and energy, allowing you to deploy your new skill quickly and start seeing results, which in turn fuels motivation to learn more. The cause effect. Learning a targeted, immediately applicable skill lets you take action, generating feedback and potential income much faster than trying to master an entire field. Prompt for action. Ask yourself, what's one skill, if you were just good enough at it, would significantly impact your financial or career goals right now? Identify that single skill. Then, for the next week, dedicate 30 minutes each day to learning only the absolute basics of that skill. Use free resources like YouTube tutorials or introductory guides. Don't aim for mastery, aim for minimum viability. This one habit, focusing on the absolute essentials to get started, changed everything for me in overcoming the fear of learning complex new areas. Moving from targeted skill acquisition Let's delve into the often unseen habits that underpin solid financial health, what I call financial hygiene. Beyond budgeting. Everyone talks about budgeting, and yes, it's crucial. But financial well-being involves a constellation of smaller, less glamorous habits that prevent decay and build resilience. These are the things that keep your financial house in order, even when the roof isn't actively leaking. It's like brushing your teeth versus waiting for a cavity. Prevention is easier and cheaper than fixing problems down the line. Here's a surprising fact. Many financially stable people aren't budgeting down to the penny. They've simply automated good habits. They've set up automatic transfers to savings and investment accounts on payday. They review their bank statements regularly, even if quickly. They pay bills the day they arrive or are set to autopay. They have a system for organizing financial documents. These aren't heroic feats. They're simple, consistent routines that remove friction and reduce the likelihood of errors or missed payments, which can cost you dearly in fees and stress. The cause effect is clear. Good financial hygiene reduces financial stress, prevents costly mistakes, and builds a foundation for wealth accumulation without requiring constant, draining effort. Try this for a week. Pick one small financial hygiene habit you've been neglecting. Maybe it's reviewing your subscriptions, checking your credit report, it's free annually, or setting up one bill for autopay. Dedicate 15 minutes to tackling just that one thing. Make it non-negotiable. This one habit, consistent, small acts of financial tidiness, changed everything for me in feeling in control of my money, not controlled by it. Expanding on the practical side of managing money, let's explore the psychology of spending. It's not just about tracking where your money goes. It's about understanding why it goes there. Our spending habits are deeply intertwined with our emotions, our beliefs about ourselves, our social circles, and even our past experiences. You could have the world's strictest budget, but if you don't address the underlying psychological drivers behind your spending, you'll constantly feel like you're fighting against yourself. Why do you buy things when you're stressed, bored, or trying to impress someone? Unpacking these whys is crucial for lasting financial change. Here's a surprising insight. Retailers and marketers are experts in leveraging psychological triggers to encourage spending. Limited time offers, scarcity tactics, anchoring effects, showing a higher price first, and appealing to your desire for status or belonging are all designed to bypass your rational brain and tap into emotional decision-making. Being aware of these tactics is the first step to regaining control. Cause and effect. Unconscious emotional spending directly undermines your financial goals. Understanding these triggers empowers you to make deliberate decisions. Conscious choices about your money. It's not about deprivation. It's about alignment. Ensuring your spending aligns with your values and goals, not just your fleeting moods. Ask yourself, when do you tend to spend money in ways you later regret? What emotion are you feeling right before? Boredom, stress, envy? Identify one common trigger. Then, try this for a week. When you feel that trigger arise and the urge to spend kicks in, pause. Don't judge it, just notice it. Then, instead of spending, choose a different action that addresses the underlying emotion. Call a friend if you're lonely. Go for a walk if you're stressed. Read a book if you're bored. This one habit, pausing and identifying the emotion before spending, changed everything for me in breaking cycles of regretful purchases. Let's talk about leveling up your personal and financial trajectory by strategically seeking guidance. You wouldn't navigate treacherous waters without a map or a seasoned captain, right? Yet, many people try to navigate the complex seas of career growth, business building, and investing entirely on their own. This is where building a personal board of advisors comes in. These aren't paid consultants, though they can be, but rather a curated group of individuals whose experience, insight, and perspective you trust and can tap into. They could be mentors, peers in different fields, or even friends with specific expertise. The key is diverse perspectives that challenge your thinking and offer guidance you wouldn't find in your own bubble. Here's a surprising fact. Successful people across almost every field report having mentors or relying on a network of trusted advisors. It's not a sign of weakness to seek advice. It's a sign of wisdom and efficiency. Investing basics, salary negotiation, starting a side hustle. Then think of one person you know or could get introduced to who has expertise in that area. Reach out and ask for a brief chat. Frame it specifically, like, could I have 15 minutes of your time next week to ask a quick question about X? Make it low pressure. This one habit, proactively seeking specific advice from trusted individuals, changed everything for me in making smarter decisions faster and avoiding pitfalls. Bringing everything together, let's reflect on the compound effect of small wins. We've talked about compounding knowledge, delaying gratification, reframing failure, building networks, and practicing financial hygiene. Notice a theme? None of these require winning the lottery or pulling off a miraculous overnight success. They are all built on small, consistent actions. And just like compounding interest or compounding knowledge, these small wins build on each other, creating a powerful, almost unstoppable momentum. Landing that first small client, learning a new skill module, saving that extra $20, getting positive feedback from a colleague. These are small wins. Celebrating them and building on them is crucial. Here's a surprising insight. Focusing on accumulating small wins is a powerful antidote to feeling overwhelmed by big goals. It releases dopamine, reinforces positive behavior, and proves to yourself that you are capable of progress. Each small win increases your confidence and motivation, making you more likely to take the next small action. This creates a virtuous cycle. Cause and effect. Consistent small wins build confidence, momentum, and resilience, making the achievement of large, daunting goals feel not only possible, but inevitable over time. Try this for a week. At the end of each day, take 5 minutes to identify and write down 1 to 3 small wins you had. They don't have to be monumental. Maybe you stuck to your learning time, resisted an impulse purchase, had a productive conversation, or just finally organized that one messy drawer. Acknowledge these wins. This one habit, daily recognizing small progress, changed everything for me in staying motivated during the long journey towards big goals. It shifts your focus from what you haven't achieved to the progress you are making. We've covered a lot today, from the quiet power of consistent habits and the superpower of delayed gratification, to reframing failure, compounding your knowledge, building your network, finding your minimum viable skill, practicing financial hygiene, understanding spending psychology, and leveraging small wins. It might feel like a lot, but remember the core principle woven throughout. Small, deliberate actions taken consistently over time lead to massive, compounding results. The big takeaway isn't to change everything overnight. It's to identify one or two areas where you can implement a small, positive habit and stick with it. The potential long-term benefit of embracing these ideas is profound. It's not just about having more money in the bank, although that's a fantastic outcome. It's about building resilience, confidence, capability, and freedom. It's about becoming the kind of person who is capable of generating and managing wealth, because you've trained your mindset and your habits to align with growth. It's about realizing that you are the most valuable asset in your financial journey. A deeper insight about money, discipline, and growth is that they are not separate pursuits. Your financial health is a direct reflection of your personal discipline, your mindset, and your willingness to learn and adapt. Money isn't just numbers in an account. It's a tool, a result, and a mirror reflecting your habits and beliefs. Discipline isn't punishment, it's freedom. The freedom to choose your future self over your current impulses. And growth isn't a destination, it's the continuous process of becoming slightly better, slightly wiser, and slightly more capable each day. In the end, your bank account will catch up to your mindset, not the other way around. Section 1. Introduction. Welcome to today's transformation dive into building a life of abundance, where we peel back the layers of what really drives financial growth and personal power. You see the success stories everywhere, right? The overnight millionaires, the people who seem to effortlessly climb the ladder. What if I told you the secret isn't some hidden investment strategy or a lottery ticket, though that would be nice, but something far more accessible, yet often overlooked? It's about cultivating the right mindset and implementing specific, repeatable habits that create a compounding effect, not just in your bank account, but in your capabilities and opportunities. It's less about what you know and more about how you grow. We're here at Earn Flow Zone to cut through the noise and give you actionable insights you can start using today. No fluff, just the stuff that works. If you're tired of feeling stuck, or like success is something that happens to other people, and you're ready to take control of your financial future and your personal trajectory with real, actionable money and mindset content, hit like and subscribe. It helps way more than you think and keeps this channel going. Seriously, every click is a little high five. Before we jump into the nitty-gritty, I'd love to hear from you. Drop a comment with where you're watching from or your biggest money habit win, no matter how small it feels. That shared energy is part of what makes this community so powerful. Let's dive in and change the way you think about success. Section 6. Compounding Skills. Becoming Irreplaceable. All right, let's talk about one of the most overlooked assets you possess. Something that can generate returns far greater than any stock market investment over the long haul. Your skills. Specifically, mastering your skills. People often believe you're either born a natural at something, a coding wizard, a writing prodigy, a sales guru, or you're not. That's a myth more stubborn than trying to fold a fitted sheet. Mastery isn't some innate gift. It's built brick by deliberate brick, one focused practice session at a time. This is the essence of compounding skills, and it's how you become not just good at something, but potentially irreplaceable. Think of any valuable skill: coding, clear writing, persuasive selling, compelling public speaking, efficient project management. Dedicating consistent, focused time to practicing and improving one of these is pure, unadulterated compounding in action. You chip away at it today, getting slightly better, faster, or more insightful. That slight improvement makes tomorrow's practice session more effective because you're building on a stronger foundation. And the day after, even better. It's like investing a small amount daily. Those tiny increments stack up into significant wealth over time. With stills, those increments stack into significant capability. Take the ambitious builder we talked about, the one deciding to launch an online course sharing their expertise. They didn't wake up one morning magically knowing how to shoot professional video, edit hours of footage, write compelling sales copy that converts, build marketing funnels, and handle customer service. Nope. They likely started by spending, say, 45 minutes daily, specifically practicing one aspect, maybe fumbling through video editing software, writing headlines that sounded terrible at first, or trying to understand the labyrinth of online advertising. Each session, no matter how frustrating or seemingly small the gain, improved their speed, the quality of their output, and their overall understanding of the entire process. This compounded practice didn't just give them theoretical knowledge. It built the practical capability to create a high-quality product and actually reach customers. They turned learning into doing, and doing into mastering. Here's the surprising insight, the part that challenges the simple practice makes perfect idea. Skills don't improve in a neat, linear line. You don't just get incrementally faster or more accurate. As you practice, especially with focused effort, you start building mental models. You develop an intuitive understanding of the underlying principles. You begin to see patterns that others miss. You learn to anticipate problems and find elegant solutions. It's like upgrading your brain's operating system for that specific skill. This intuitive leap allows you to solve complex problems faster and more effectively than someone with only surface-level knowledge or brute force practice. Your skill doesn't just compound into greater ability, it compounds into efficiency, creativity, and unique value that's hard to replicate. Suddenly, you're not just doing the job, you're doing it better, differently, and more effectively than others, making you incredibly valuable. This unique value is a direct pipeline to increased income and opportunities. The trap? Believing you need hours upon hours or waiting until you feel ready. You don't. The most important step is starting and staying consistent. So here's the action challenge for you. Identify just one skill that if you became significantly better at it, would dramatically impact your income, open doors to new opportunities, or give you a competitive edge. Maybe it's public speaking for presentations, writing clear emails, coding a specific function, mastering a design tool, or becoming a better negotiator. Now, commit to practicing this skill for just 30 minutes daily. Set a timer. Do this for the next 10 days. Don't aim for perfection. Aim for presence and consistency. Track your progress. Perhaps just noting what you practiced or one tiny improvement you noticed, no matter how insignificant it seems initially. This one habit changed everything for me when I applied it to writing scripts for these videos. The initial ones were rough, but 30 minutes a day added up. Ask yourself, what's one skill worth 30 minutes today? Section 12, Wind Down, Reflective Close. As we wind down our time today, let's take a breath and let these ideas settle. We've explored the incredible power of compounding, not just in finance, but in building your capabilities, your mindset, and ultimately, your potential. It's easy to get caught up in the complexity of the world, the endless stream of information, and the feeling that you need to do everything at once. but the profound truth is often found in simplicity and consistency. The single biggest takeaway from our time together and from the core principles of compounding is that small, deliberate actions repeated consistently over time lead to results that are anything but small. Whether it's saving a little each week, practicing a key skill for 30 minutes a day, consciously shifting a limiting belief, or simply choosing to be present and grateful, these aren't isolated acts. They are investments in your future self. They create momentum. They build resilience. They unlock potential you might not even realize you have. The potential long-term benefit of embracing this philosophy is not just about having more money in the bank. Although that's a wonderful outcome, it's about becoming a person who is capable, adaptable, and confident. It's about building a life where you are the architect, steadily constructing your reality with the tools of discipline and consistent effort. Imagine who you could be in a year, 3 years, 5 years, if you consistently invested just a little bit each day into your most valuable assets, your time, your mind, and your skills. That future version of you is not a stranger. They are built by the choices you make starting now. A deeper insight that often gets missed in the chase for quick wins is that growth isn't just about accumulation, accumulating money, accumulating skills, accumulating possessions. True growth is also about refinement, about becoming more focused, more effective, and more aligned with your core values. It's about learning to leverage what you have and who you are, rather than constantly chasing something external. It's understanding that discipline isn't punishment. It's the pathway to freedom. The freedom to choose your actions. The freedom to build your future. Remember this: the external world, your circumstances, your bank account, they are often lagging indicators of your internal state, your habits, and your mindset. In the end, your bank account will catch up to your mindset, not the other way around. Stay consistent, stay curious, and keep building your earned flow. Okay, let's expand Section 7 based on your structure and requirements. Start of Section 7. Following a transition from a previous section, we've talked about how money itself compounds, how small financial deposits grow over time. But what if I told you that the most powerful form of compounding isn't always found in a bank account or a stock portfolio? It's actually in something far more human, far more fundamental: your relationships. We're talking about compounding relationships, or what you could call your network's net worth. Now, before your eyes glaze over thinking this is just about schmoozing or collecting business cards, listen up. Your network isn't just a static list of names in your phone. It's the dynamic strength and depth of the connections you consciously choose to cultivate. And building and nurturing these relationships, that, my friends, is a classic, potent example of compounding in action. Think of it like planting seeds. Each genuine interaction, each small act of kindness or support is a seed planted. You water it by checking in with people, not just when you need something, but just because. You fertilize it by offering help without expecting an immediate return. You build the soil by being reliable, trustworthy, and showing up when you say you will. These aren't grand gestures. They are the consistent, small actions that build something incredibly valuable over time: social capital. This social capital grows, quietly, steadily, like a tiny investment, adding interest month after month. Let's look at a relatable example we've all probably seen or experienced. Imagine a mid-earner who feels stuck, and is looking for a career change. Instead of suddenly blasting their LinkedIn network when they need a new job, the friend who only texts when their car breaks down, this person has consistently stayed in touch with former colleagues over the years. They attend industry meetups, even virtual ones, not just to find a job now, but to learn and connect. Crucially, they proactively make introductions for others, connecting person A and person B because they see a mutual benefit, not because they'll get something from it. When they finally decide it's time to look for a new role, their network doesn't just exist, it actively works for them. Former colleagues remember their reliability and recommend them. Contacts provide leads before job postings even go public. Mentors offer invaluable insights into navigating interviews in a new field. Doors open that would remain firmly shut for someone who only reaches out when they need a lifeline. Their consistent, low-key effort in nurturing relationships compounded into genuine, tangible opportunities. It's the difference between having a Rolodex and having advocates. And here's a surprising insight that often gets missed. The value of a relationship doesn't just compound through direct favors or obvious assistance. It also explodes through the serendipity, the happy accidents, and the completely unexpected connections that arise simply from being part of a diverse, engaged, and trusting group of people. A single, seemingly random introduction from a friend of a friend, facilitated by your existing network, can unlock years of opportunities you couldn't have possibly foreseen or planned for. It's like passive income for your network. Unexpected dividends arriving when you least expect them, simply because you've invested in the underlying asset, the relationship. You can't force this kind of serendipity, but you can dramatically increase its chances by consistently adding value and staying genuinely connected. This compounding effect is powerful precisely because it's not transactional. It's built on mutual respect, trust, and genuine interest in each other's well-being and success. So let's make this actionable right now. Try this for a week. Reach out to just one person in your network. Pick someone you haven't spoken to in a while, or perhaps someone you admire or find interesting. Send them a genuine message. Don't ask for anything at all. Simply ask how they are doing. Share something relevant you thought they might find interesting. An article, a podcast, a funny meme that reminded you of them, or simply say you were thinking of them. Make it a deposit into the relationship account, not a withdrawal. See how it feels. This one habit, practiced consistently, can change the entire trajectory of your opportunities and your net worth in ways you can't yet imagine. Now, you might be thinking, okay, earn flow zone, I get the money part, I get the habits. But what about the really tricky stuff? The voice in my head. Well, let's talk about perhaps the single most powerful area for compounding in your entire life. And it has nothing to do with spreadsheets. Your mindset. We're diving into compounding mindset shifts and how your beliefs, quite literally, build your reality. Your mindset. Everything from your core beliefs about yourself and the world, to the assumptions you make, to the constant stream of self-talk running in the background, is an engine for either growth or stagnation. Small daily practices here might seem almost ridiculously simple in the moment. Things like pausing to feel gratitude for something, no matter how small, using positive affirmations, even if you feel a bit silly saying them at first, let's be honest. Actively challenging those annoying limiting beliefs that pop up, or simply learning to reframe a negative thought before it spirals out of control. On their own, these tiny actions feel, Well, tiny, like trying to empty a pool with a teaspoon. But this is where compounding works its magic in the most profound way. Consistently applied, these tiny mental shifts fundamentally begin to rewire your brain. They don't just change what you do, they change how you perceive the world around you, altering your view of opportunities, challenges, and your own capabilities. Think about that beginner we mentioned earlier, the one feeling completely overwhelmed by a mountain of debt. It's crucial for them to crunch the numbers, make a budget, figure out a payoff plan. Absolutely essential steps. But if they only focus on the numbers, the sheer weight of the debt can become paralyzing. The anxiety is crushing. The self-doubt is deafening. I'm so stupid. I'll never get out of this. Now, imagine they add a simple daily practice. Every morning, they list 3 things they are genuinely grateful for. Maybe it's just a sunny day, a decent cup of coffee, or the fact that their car started. And then, they repeat a simple positive affirmation, something like, "I am capable of learning and improving my financial situation." This practice doesn't magically erase a single dollar of debt overnight. That would be nice, wouldn't it? Maybe in another dimension. But over weeks and months, something profound happens internally. That constant, low-grade anxiety starts to lessen. Resilience begins to build. They might not feel like a millionaire yet, but they feel less like a victim and more like someone capable of taking action. This shift in emotional state, fueled by small compounded mindset changes, makes if you compound negative beliefs about money. Maybe you constantly tell yourself, "I'm bad with money. Money is hard to earn," or "rich people are greedy and I don't want to be like them." You are essentially putting on heavily tinted, opportunity-blocking glasses. You will filter out chances you might have seen otherwise. You'll avoid conversations about investing. You'll dismiss ideas for side hustles. You'll even subconsciously sabotage your own efforts because it reinforces your core belief. You compound the negative and reinforce negative outcomes. But when you start compounding positive, empowering beliefs, even small ones, "I am capable of learning. There are opportunities everywhere. I am open to receiving abundance." It's like those filters start to lighten. You suddenly notice possibilities you walked right past before. A casual comment becomes a business idea. A problem becomes a chance to innovate. A tough situation becomes a lesson instead of a defeat. Your mindset isn't just a reflection of your reality. It actively compounds into your reality, shaping what you see and what you create. This concept is so powerful, and the starting point is incredibly simple. Try this for a week. For the next 7 days, begin your day by writing down just 3 things you are genuinely grateful for. They can be incredibly small: the comfort of your bed, the taste of water, a friendly text message, the fact that you're reading this right now, taking steps to improve yourself. This practice takes less than 5 minutes. It might feel insignificant on day 1, but by day 7, you will have actively scanned your environment for the positive 21 times. That small act, compounded daily, begins the critical process of rewiring your brain to look for the good, to build resilience, and to start compounding a genuinely positive and opportunity-seeing outlook. This one habit changed everything for me in terms of shifting my perspective when things felt tough. Okay, so we've talked about the incredible power of compounding, how small, consistent actions create massive results over time, whether that's with money, skills, or health. But here's the multi-million-dollar question. If compounding is so obviously powerful, This engine of delayed gratification and exponential growth, why doesn't everyone leverage it? Why do so many people start strong with a new habit or goal? Saving money, hitting the gym, learning a new language, building a side hustle, only to fizzle out. The answer lies in what's often called the plateau of latent potential. Imagine you're planting a seed. You put it in the soil, water it, make sure it gets sunlight. For days, maybe even weeks, nothing seems to happen above the ground. You keep watering, you keep tending, but the visible output is minimal, even non-existent. Below the surface, however, an incredible amount of work is happening. Roots are forming, energy is being stored, the tiny plant is gathering everything it needs for its eventual sprout and rapid growth. Building a new habit, especially one designed for compounding results, feels exactly like this. You show up daily, you put in the effort, you save that $20, you write that page, you practice that skill. But the initial output seems underwhelming compared to the input. You are squarely in the dip, on the plateau. This is precisely the point where most people get discouraged, look around, see seemingly faster results elsewhere, and tragically, they quit. Think about our friend saving $20 a week. They are doing everything right. Month 1, $80. Month 2, $160. It feels tiny, almost pointless. Then bam! A friend gets an unexpected bonus or a small inheritance, suddenly adding $1,000 to their account. Instantly, the voice of doubt creeps in. This is ridiculous. My tiny efforts will never add up to anything significant. I'll never catch up. They stop saving. They abandon the habit. What's brutal is they quit just before their consistent habit would have started to become automatic, requiring less willpower, and just before the cumulative effect of their savings would have started to feel more significant and then compound faster through interest or investment gains. It's like stopping a kettle from heating up at 99 degrees. You did all the work but missed the boil. Here's the surprising insight, the powerful truth that flips the script. The biggest breakthroughs, the most dramatic results from compounding don't happen in a smooth, linear line right from the start. They happen in bursts, often after you've pushed through this seemingly barren plateau. The effort you put in during that initial phase isn't wasted energy. It's like charging a battery or building tension in a spring. It's being stored. It's strengthening the foundation. It's gathering the critical mass needed to accelerate later. Your previous attempts that felt like failures weren't actually failures. They were just part of the foundation building phase for future exponential growth. You were likely on the plateau. The growth was latent, hidden, but intensely real. So, the action steps? First, try a little reflection. Ask yourself, what's something you started with good intentions? Maybe a fitness routine, a learning project, a specific savings goal, where you eventually gave up because you weren't seeing results fast enough? Acknowledge that you were almost certainly standing right on the plateau of latent potential. You weren't failing, you were building roots. Now, let's pivot. Pick one habit right now that you want to build using the power of compounding. Make it a small, consistent action. It could be saving $5 a day, reading 10 pages, exercising for 15 minutes, spending 30 minutes on a side project. Commit to sticking with this one habit for a minimum of 90 days. Non-negotiable. Do it regardless of whether you see massive visible results in the first week, the first month, or even the first 2 months. Trust. The process. Understand that while it might feel like nothing is happening on the surface, you are building an invisible engine of future success. So we've talked a lot about the power of consistency, that steady drip that eventually fills the bucket. But what if you could turn up the tap? What if you could accelerate compounding? This isn't about risky shortcuts. It's about strategic acceleration, focusing on what we call high-leverage actions and building robust systems. Think of it like this. Consistency is showing up for the race every day, training hard. High-leverage actions are finding the best running shoes, optimizing your diet with a nutritionist, or getting a coach, things that amplify the effort you're already putting in. The prime example in personal finance, and honestly, life, is automating positive habits. You see, willpower is a finite resource. Relying on yourself to manually transfer savings every single week? Good luck when you're tired, stressed, or just plain forget. But when you set up an automatic transfer to your savings account, scheduled for payday, boom, that money moves before you even see it. It compounds effortlessly in your investment account or high-yield savings, requiring exactly zero willpower on your part, week after week, month after month. It's like setting up a tiny, tireless financial assistant who never takes a day off. This isn't just about money. Think about the ambitious builder, maybe someone creating a product or a service online. They aren't just building the product itself, they're building systems around it. They automate their social media posting for consistent visibility. They create email templates for common customer questions, saving hours each week. They build a sales funnel that guides potential clients automatically. These initial setup efforts aren't one-off tasks. They are foundational systems that compound their time and reach exponentially compared to doing everything manually. Trying to remember to post on Instagram manually every single day? Exhausting. Setting up a scheduling tool once a week? Game changer. It's like building a machine that keeps working even when you step away. And here's a truly surprising insight, something people often miss. Identifying and implementing these high-leverage actions and systems creates a compounding effect, not just in the results you get, more savings, more leads, more productive time, but critically, in freeing up your time and mental energy. You're no longer bogged down by repetitive, low-value tasks. This freed-up time and mental space can then be reinvested into other areas of compounding. Maybe you use that extra hour to learn a new high-income skill, read a book that shifts your perspective, or spend quality time with family, strengthening relationships that maybe it's setting up that automatic transfer to savings or investments today. Maybe it's planning your meals for the week on Sunday so you stop ordering expensive takeout. Maybe it's batch processing your emails twice a day instead of constantly checking them. Or creating a simple checklist for that recurring task you always forget steps on. Identify just one. Implement this automation or system today. This one habit, this one system setup can truly change everything for you, unleashing a new level of compounding. Your financial future is compounding now. Let's talk about something fundamental, something happening every second, whether you realize it or not: compounding. You know the term from finance, right? Money making money, exponential growth over time. But compounding isn't just a bank feature or an investment strategy. It's the underlying principle of life itself. especially your journey towards financial freedom and personal mastery. Every single day, the choices you make are either adding to your future wealth, your knowledge base, your skills, your relationships, and crucially, your mindset, or they are actively subtracting from them. There is no neutral. There is no pause button on this process. You are either compounding progress, building momentum towards the earn flow zone, or you are compounding stagnation, which, in a world that is constantly compounding, feels exactly like a steep decline. Think about your physical health. Skipping the gym once? No biggie. Skipping it for a month, a year, 5 years? That compounds negative health outcomes, decreased energy, maybe extra weight. Now try to reverse 5 years of compounded decline with one massive heroic workout. Impossible. It requires consistent daily effort over time. It's the same with your money, your skills, your inner world. Take the classic retirement example we often hear, but maybe don't fully grasp its punch. A total beginner who starts saving a seemingly insignificant $50 a month today, consistently, for 30 years, don't let it slip through your fingers. Here's the surprising, almost frustrating insight. The biggest obstacle to your success, to building that abundant future, isn't a lack of potential, intelligence, or even resources starting out. It's far simpler and far more insidious. It's underestimating the immense, quiet power of small, consistent actions and simultaneously overestimating the impact of sporadic, large, flashy ones. We crave the viral success, the lottery win, the sudden promotion that changes everything overnight. But the truth? The boring daily disciplines are the real secret. The $5 saved instead of spent on impulse, the 30 minutes spent learning a new skill instead of scrolling, the honest conversation about your budget instead of avoiding it. These seemingly minor decisions, repeated daily, compound into life-altering results over months and years. It's not about hitting a home run every day. It's about consistently getting on base. This is why being brutally honest with yourself is non-negotiable. Look back at the habits and actions you've identified, maybe in previous sections, or just those you know define your daily routine. How are they currently compounding your life? Ask yourself, what's stopping you from seeing the clear cause and effect of your daily routine? Are your late-night scrolls compounding distraction and fatigue? Or is your consistent learning habit compounding knowledge and opportunity? Try this for a week. Consciously track just one negative habit's impact and one positive habit's impact. Be honest with the score. Then, write it down. List 2 to 3 specific ways negative compounding might be subtly hurting you right now, chipping away at your potential, and 2 to 3 concrete ways positive compounding could dramatically help you build the future you actually want. This isn't about judgment. It's about gaining clarity so you can choose to steer the compounding force in your favor. Your financial future isn't some distant event. It's being built brick by brick, or crumbled brick by your choices right now. You've heard the phrase, start today, but maybe it feels a little overwhelming, like you need to launch into some massive, life-altering project the moment the thought crosses your mind. And because that feels too big, too hard, too much, you put it off. You tell yourself, someday, when I have more time, more money, more energy, more clarity. But here's the honest, slightly ironic truth about becoming an unstoppable force. You don't become unstoppable by waiting for perfect conditions or a magic spark. You become unstoppable by starting with a tiny, almost laughably small push today. So what's the core takeaway from everything we've discussed about getting unstuck, navigating plateaus, and building real momentum? It's incredibly simple, yet profoundly powerful. Stop waiting for the spark. Stop waiting for the big break. Stop waiting for someday. Your power lies in the small, consistent actions you take today and tomorrow and the day after that. Your financial freedom, your skill mastery, your strong relationships, and your powerful mindset are not built in giant leaps. They are built in tiny, daily increments that compound over time. Think of it like building a massive wall. It doesn't appear overnight. It's built one brick at a time, laid consistently, day after day. The strength isn't in any single brick, but in the collective structure that consistency creates. What happens if you ignore this lesson? You stay stuck on the plateau, looking for shortcuts or quick fixes that just don't exist in the real world of building wealth or skills. You keep chasing those elusive get-rich-quick schemes or believing you'll magically wake up one day with perfect discipline. And guess what? They never materialize. You watch others build wealth, skills, and opportunities with seemingly less effort, not realizing they're just diligently applying the compounding principle you're ignoring. While you're waiting for the mythical right time, your negative habits continue to compound against you. The debt grows, the unused gym membership accrues fees, the unread books pile up, making it harder and harder to start. The gap between where you are and where you want to be widens, not because you're incapable, but because you're fighting against the most powerful, quiet force in personal growth: compounding. It's like trying to paddle upstream against a growing current instead of using the current to carry you forward. But what happens if you embrace it? You start small. You focus on consistency over intensity, meaning doing something small every day is infinitely more effective than doing something huge once in a while. You accept the slow, often invisible beginning, trusting that growth is happening below the surface, like roots developing before the plant shoots skyward. You celebrate tiny wins, that single dollar saved, that one page read, that 5-minute walk, knowing they build momentum and reinforce the positive habit loop. You automate what you can, removing friction from consistency. You patiently persist through the plateau, understanding this is where the real work happens, where the leverage is built. And eventually, inevitably, you hit the exponential curve. Your savings accelerate faster than you thought possible. Your skills become highly valuable because you've put in the reps. Your network provides unexpected opportunities because you've nurtured connections. Your mindset becomes a fortress of resilience and optimism because you've proven to yourself you can stick with things. You become an unstoppable force, not through magic or luck, but through leverage, the incredible, often underestimated leverage of compounding. Here's a surprising truth. The most successful people aren't necessarily the most talented or the hardest working initially. They are often simply the most consistent. The myth is that they sprinted to the top. The reality is they walked steadily, day after day, and that consistent walk eventually outpaced the sprinters who burned out. This one habit, daily small action, changed everything for me and countless others navigating their earn flow zone. Your challenge is simple. You've already identified some habits and areas you want to improve, right? Now, pick just one positive habit, one small action that takes less than 15 minutes a day, and commit to doing it every single day for the next 30 days. Don't overthink it. Don't make it complicated. Just pick one thing. Save $1 into a separate account. Read 5 pages of a relevant book. Exercise for 10 minutes. Write 200 words on your project. Plan your top 3 tasks for the next day. Do it daily. See the power of consistency for yourself. Try this for 30 days and watch the magic of compounding begin to work for you instead of against you. This is where your earn flow zone truly begins.